When people think about peptides, the first question usually is, will this work for me? But the truth is, peptides don't thrive in chaos. They work in systems, in structure, in a body that is actually prepared, supported, and primed, ready to respond. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that means and how to kind of upgrade your operating system so that peptides work better for you. Hi, everybody. I'm Chanelle Jepson, Senior VP of Product Development. I am a nutraceutical supplement formulator. I also am a functional nutritionist and food biochemist. And I'm really excited about kind of this next era of weight loss. For the first time in decades, we have seen obesity rates start to go down, which is really exciting. If you're in the chat, give us a thumbs up, a clap, because that is seriously huge news for this epidemic. So many Americans are not metabolically healthy. And so they're really struggling with a lot of different issues. And so that's what we're here to do is kind of create a metabolic shift. So instead of there only being 12% of Americans, we want to increase that number of how many Americans are actually metabolically healthy. Instead of 12%, let's bump that up to 20. Let's bump that up to 30. I would love it if 100% of Americans were metabolically healthy. And so today I'm going to tell you exactly kind of how to help your body thrive with or without peptides, but how to make it to where either you're creating a system within your body that is either going to thrive on peptides or is going to create peptides on its own more efficiently. So we're kind of talking about both things here. You guys, your body isn't a project. It is not a project, it is a system. And I think a lot of times where we get things wrong is we want to target individual things. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but people will be like, what's that exercise that is going to get me abs? What's that exercise that's going to do this? But the way our bodies work is just in these systems, and you actually have to tackle it as a whole rather than an isolated. And same thing, even for example, your immune system, rather than targeting a specific virus or a specific bacteria, if you create like a healthy ecosystem, that ecosystem is going to support you in fighting off all of these little invaders. And so that's what we want to do here is in order for you to be metabolically healthy, in order for you to be part of that 12%, in order for you to achieve that, kind of exclusive because it's such a small number, for you to achieve that, you do need to really work at your body as a whole. So, what I'm saying is sometimes we have treated weight loss as kind of like a project. So we have challenges and diets and 30 days this and 90 days this. And while those are great, we want to think of that long term success. So when we come out with programs, a lot of times we do have to put a time limit on them. But the goal with these is not that you only implement these habits for 30 days, for 60 days, for 90 days. You figure out how do you implement these habits for your life. Because your system is really made of hormones and signals and your microbiome and your muscle and your sleep and your whole hormonal, like your chemistry, and they all work with each other throughout the day. Your peptides are not going to override the system. They whisper to it, they enhance it, they're going to guide it. However, if your system is overwhelmed, so if your digestion is not great, if your sleep is erratic, if your protein is low, if your stress is high, your results are going to reflect that chaos. Okay, so like I said, so only 88% of or 88% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy, right? So we want to get this, we want to lower this number or increase the 12%. And that's really our mission is to be part of that metabolic shift, which is the largest, like this is the number one thing that Americans are struggling with. It is heart disease, it is diabetes, it is blood pressure, it is blood sugar issues, it is obesity and obesity related illnesses. These are the things that are plaguing the majority of Americans. And this is something that we excel at. All right, so talking about kind of that chaos. Um, So you're going to have things that are going to create chaos. And these are the things that we want to snuff out. These are the things that we want to smother. Okay. First, blood sugar issues, right? Here at Zingular, we definitely have cornered the market on blood sugar support. We have products like our trim sticks that are going to help with your blood sugar with our patented it's a Chrominex, it's a chromium blend with amla fruit and shilajit. And this literally is going to help your blood sugar instead of spiking and dropping and you having being sluggish and gaining weight and having brain fog and all of the terrible things that happen when your blood sugar is erratic. We want to even that out. So we're going to do that with our patented chromium. We're going to do that through prebiotic fibers, both in trim sticks and in complete prebiotic, in order to slow down that conversion into simple sugars that absorb in your bloodstream, right? We want to slow that down. And so those are some really key things in helping to balance your blood sugar. People who have sluggish digestive systems. That is why we've implemented things like our award-winning complete probiotic that has a really cool blend specifically for your microbiome and for your digestive system at an incredible results in people with IBD, and the clinical studies on that are incredible at helping people to feel good through their digestive system and incredibly boosting their quality of life. So these people in these studies, they go through a quality of life survey, and that to me is so impactful because as much as I love numbers and I love seeing percentages drop and these increase and I love data, like that is a world I live in. But even more important is what does that translate to everyday living? Okay. And so some of these studies, they actually track their quality of life. So think of things like um, being able to not feel bloated, dissented, not having diarrhea, not having constipation. I've worked with patients who have been constipated for days. If you can only imagine the tremendous amount of pain they're in, and then that poor digestion, the food just sits in there and it's rotting. And you think of all of the gases and toxins that are being released, and those toxins show up in your skin, and you're seeing that with psoriasis and eczema and acne and just these skin issues and even advanced aging because of the oxidative stress that's happening, right? So people who are experiencing this, and there's a balance, right? Because blood sugar, I talked about fiber, we want to slow down that conversion, but we don't want to slow down digestion too much, right? So there is this really happy place. And so when you're on a GLP-1 peptide, that is going to slow your digestion down, which is good in some regard, but you also have to be digesting your food. I always say you are not what you eat, you are what you digest. And that is key. We are seeing so many people on peptides who are upping their protein, which is incredible. We want protein. We need to trigger muscle protein synthesis in order to fight off sarcopenia, which is muscle deterioration as we age. So we need this protein, but more importantly, we need these amino acids. Like within our clear protein, right? You have these amazing amino acids. It's super high in leucine, which leucine, the amount is over the 2.5 threshold, which is literally the trigger that is going to stimulate your muscle protein synthesis. So we really need these amino acids. We have an advanced enzyme technology within clear protein. And what that's going to do is that is going to extract 100% more amino acids, which are the building blocks of the entire human body. So we're getting more out of our protein. But now, so you have that. But what about the other meals of the day, right? We have Thanksgiving coming up. What happens when you eat that turkey and you have poor digestion? Well, instead of your body converting it and being able to break down those amino acids and being able to absorb those amino acids, your body could actually store it as excess calories and store it in your connective tissue as fat cells, right? That's what we don't want. So that's why it's really important to take a product like our complete digestive aid that helps break down those protein into those amino acids. It's going to break down those carbohydrates, those fats, those sugars, even fiber and dairy. It is such a unique, comprehensive, broad digestive enzyme blend that helps you to battle the bloat so that during the holidays, you feel good and you look good and you're actually getting more return on the investment of your meal. So, yes, we want slow digestion it can be good and it can be bad. And so we want to make sure we hit the money spot. And that is where our nutraceuticals come in, is to really help your body and to balance it so that you have the perfect prime digestion. All right, so next up, we want to make sure that we're working with gut imbalances, right? A lot of times, so there was the largest twin study ever, and they took slim twins and then they took their unhealthy obese twin or overweight twin, and they were able to they were able to dig into their microbiome and understand what was happening on a microbial level. The healthy twins, they found, had gut diversity. They had lots of different bacteria. That is what made them thin. Because when we talk about GLP-1, GLP-1 is actually created in your digestional tract. It takes a good bacteria that is going to take a prebiotic, and it's going to create a postbiotic or a short chain fatty acid, and that is going to trigger these L cells. We also have K cells in order to produce things like GLP-1 and GIP, which are the ingredients found in tirzepatide. And so we really want, like, gut health is the most important thing. If I was to give advice to somebody who was like, I want to work on my metabolic health, I want to lose weight, or maybe they're prepping for a peptide, I would say number one thing, fix your gut, love on it, and give it like our complete probiotic, which has this diversity. Not only is it going to improve your mood through your gut brain axis, and it has psychobiotics, which psychobiotics are specific probiotic strains that confer a mental health benefit, but it also is going to have metabolic strains that are literally to target your metabolic health. And then, of course, your digestion and your microbiome. So, focusing on that, and then also plant diversity. You want, when we looked at those twins, it was really the thin twin had microbial diversity, and they did that through food diversity, through plant diversity. So, coming up this next week, when you sit down for your meals, not that Thanksgiving is just one meal a year, so I actually don't give it a lot of weight, but there's a lot of heavier meals during this time of year. And so, this is just really information that can help you to be successful at all of those. Um, so, just some advice: sit down, have an attitude of gratitude when you sit down to a meal. When you do that, when you pray, when you give thanks, when you sit down and kind of calm your central nervous system, it actually helps you absorb more nutrients from your food. And that is shown by science that when we get our body from stress, that sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, we get it into a rest and digest mode. And so you are actually digesting your food better and pulling more nutrients from your food. So super cool. Another thing that helps, that really blocks results with peptides, is a low protein diet. We definitely need protein in order to help our metabolic system and to help your metabolism and the amount of calories that your body can digest and your body can use without it storing it as fat. And so we definitely want to work on muscle and eating enough protein in our diet. Really cool study that recently came out showed that people who drank 20 grams of whey protein 20 minutes before a meal, 20 to 30 minutes before a meal, actually ate up to 300 calories less. So let me say that again. So say you're going to dinner tonight, you drink your clear protein 20 to 30 minutes before you eat, you will eat less calories. On average, 150 less calories. But when you think of how that adds up, that can add up to some significant weight loss. So that is another tool for you to help, but this will also help to prep you for peptides. So I want you to put in the comments if there's something that you want to do for Thanksgiving that you're like, okay, wait, I need to add this or I need to do this. I just want you to put it in if you do celebrate Thanksgiving, or it's just a large meal, whatever for you. Another thing is low fiber. Very few Americans get in enough fiber, and that is really leading to some serious consequences. There are some certain types of health issues that are on the rise, even in young people, due to low fiber levels. And so that is one of the things that we really want you to target as you prep for peptides, as you want to lose weight, as you want to work on your metabolic health. Fiber is so important, okay? If like me as a woman, I need to be between 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day, and you want to get those from lots of different sources. And that's actually why I love our complete prebiotic, is because you get it from 5 different sources up front. You get 5 different sources of fiber. You have a banana, you have apple, pectin, which apple pectin is amazing, even like for your skin. It's incredible. Banana resistant starch is really incredible for creating these short chain fatty acids. You have this acacia fiber. So you have PHGG. That is like the gut loving fiber because you can have a lot of it and it doesn't cause any digestive distress. It's really amazing. But then, even something that's really cool is not just fiber in our complete prebiotic, but we have an anthocyanins. We have these type of prebiotic polyphenols that are incredible for gut and for helping to stimulate your gut function and create diversity through things like bilberry, these European blueberries. These anthocyanins are found in this purple produce, and it has incredible benefits on digestion, but it also has incredible benefits on weight loss. Anthocyanins are incredible for that. You think of blackberries and blueberries and all of these more kind of low glycemic but high antioxidant anthocyanins are incredible for that. Uh, so these are some of the things. And then obviously, high stress. We want you to manage your stress. Do breathing exercises. Breathe in for 5, hold for 5, breathe out for 5, hold for 5. Just to calm your central nervous system, to take your body from fight or flight to rest and digest. And that is going to be really important as you prep your body for peptides. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I want to get the best results possible. If I'm going to invest in peptides, I want to make sure I'm losing weight faster, that I'm not tired, that I'm not puffy, that I don't crave sugar, all of those different things. This is what you need to do to prep your body. One, protein. Make sure you're getting in your protein. Make sure you're getting in your fiber, your sleep. We have an incredible product for sleep called NAD Dreams. NAD Dreams actually calms your central nervous system. It has things like apigenin, which is the active in chamomile tea that calms you down. It has organic tart cherry. Organic tart cherry is actually a natural source of a melatonin enhancing ingredient. It's really key. It also can help you if you get muscle tenseness at night, and it's just going to help to like calm down your brain and really get you some amazing restorative restful sleep without any sedatives. We don't want sedatives. We don't want something that's going to leave us waking up groggy. We want something that really helps us to sleep and get that restorative sleep. Plus, there's incredible beauty benefits from it and longevity benefits from it. This is going to improve your NAD plus production through the most clinically studied precursor, which is the most impactful, which is NR. We paired that with a resveratrol as well as aspartame, and aspartame is incredible for your skin, has lots of beauty benefits, but also energy, NAD plus production benefits. It is, I would say, NAD Dreams is like probably 10 different products in one scoop every night, and it is kind of like my my most beloved product right now because it has done such wonders for my skin and my energy and all of that. But in order for your body to really be primed, you do want to start getting good sleep. But one of the things that's amazing about peptides is they also improve your sleep. But one of the things that we found is that if you just get under 6 hours of sleep, so just around the 6 hours or under, that's actually going to raise your hunger hormones by about 24%. So that's why it's so important that you are getting sleep. And then, of course, stress. We know the harms of excess cortisol and insulin, and those are just fat storage's best friends. Okay, so we want to keep those, and so that's why we want to take things like NAD Dreams that is going to help with cortisol. That is why we want to in the morning go outside, look at the sun. That's going to lower your cortisol. You do have a spike in the morning, which is totally normal and fine, but you also don't want to keep that cortisol high. So you want to get out, you want to see the sun, you want that to help bring that down, kick off your circadian rhythm, which is just going to kind of help everything else. Okay, so moving on. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is really processed foods. You do I try to focus on the things you should have instead of the things you shouldn't. However, I will say that processed foods have become the majority of Americans' diets and has become a pretty big issue. And so they're going to overstimulate your dopamine and they can override your satiety signals and they can even override GLP-1 signaling. So this is why it's really important to start getting rid of those in your diet. But one of the really cool things with peptides is that they can turn down the food noise so much that you're able to now focus on the good things you should have. But I just want to say, like, we want to prep the system, we want to support what matters, and we want to kind of calm the chaos in our bodies by doing these kind of simple things. So when we look at peptide, so the window, so what you do inside really helps determine your results. So I want you to think of peptides as opening a window, okay? Suddenly, your hunger is lower, your mind is a little bit quieter, and maybe your cravings they start to soften a bit. Um, that window is where that transformation happens, okay? So this window is where that happens, but when the system is ready. Okay. And so if you're like, I want to get the most out of these peptides, I want to make sure that I'm losing weight, that I'm getting metabolically healthy, that like all of the results you're looking for, it's really is part peptide, and part prep and that support. Um, so nutrition is going to help multiply these results. Movement is going to help multiply the results. Sleep is going to help multiply results. Gut health is going to definitely help multiply results. Peptides don't do the work for you. They're a tool to help you do the work. Um, I just really think they can be a huge support because instead of overriding your biology, they're working with your biology and helping to reinforce those metabolic pathways and helping to support the body. But I want you to think of it's not either or, it's and, right? We want to prep, but we also need peptides because a lot of people have tried. They've white knuckled, they've clawed their self trying to do all of these things, right? But they needed this biological help through these precision peptides in order to do this, right? But it's not either or, right? It is an and thing. So I want you to, as you go into your peptide therapy, to think of your prep system. And so if I was to look at the most simplest prep system, I've if there were other things I mentioned that you're like, oh, Chanelle, I struggle with that. Like, I struggle with not being bloated after I eat, and I actually don't think I'm getting all the nutrition from my meals, and I need a complete digestive aid. Or you're saying, like, oh, actually, I do struggle with sleep and calming down at night, and I'm trying to, instead of drinking wine at night, I actually want something that's good for me that helps me wind down, if you will. So I'm going to implement NAD Dreams, or I really need more fiber, so I'm going to implement complete prebiotic. So all of those things are very specific to you and what you need. But I'm going to keep it really simple. So if you were to take away like a thing that you're like, okay, this is what I need, I would say our support stack, clear protein. Clear protein because it's going to help. It has the highest on record protein with leucine quantity in it, right? We want to trigger muscle protein synthesis. So clear protein is key. Also, you also get the bonus is if you're drinking it 20 to 30 minutes before a meal, it's actually going to help you eat less. So there's different parts that are so beneficial with clear protein. Also, whey protein stimulates more GLP-1 production naturally and CCK production naturally than other proteins. So I would say make sure you snag your clear protein. Next is going to be trim sticks. The reason trim sticks is because I want you to enjoy this experience. I want you to have the energy to do it because even as your calories, so calories equal energy, as your energy drops, we want you to have a boost of energy. But we also need you to have some fiber, right? We need to help with your blood sugar balancing your those levels. We want our patented chromium blend in order to help you with your blood sugar so that you have better success. That is really important. We want you to even quiet down the food noise more. Like if you're on a microdose where it's not a medical weight loss dose, but it's a microdose, so maybe it's just taking the edge off, but you feel like you need a little bit more than just taking the edge off. You really want to quiet it more. Trim sticks is an amazing addition. And then Complete probiotic, I would say, is number one. Because digestion is so important for GLP-1 production. It is literally the thing that produces GLP-1. Is this good bacteria taking prebiotics and creating these short chain fatty acids? Those short chain fatty acids are what create the cells that produce GLP-1. So that this is so important for prep. So number one would be our complete probiotic because not only is it going to boost your mood through that gut brain, but it's also going to help with metabolic systems and improving your metabolic health with or without peptides. And then as well as improving digestion and really improving your quality of life through digestion. So those would be the three things. Like if you're like, okay, like I need to keep it super simple when I'm starting, this is what I'm going to do. That is what I would do. Make sure you get our support stack. Now, if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not really looking for peptides, but I still want to improve my metabolic health and I still want to lose weight, do our support stack plus GLP-X. This is really going to help enhance your GLP-1 production and help you with your metabolic system. And so there's two pathways for you, which we've had incredible results on this system as well. So you really can't go wrong. You just your body and like trust your intuition on what you're like, this is what I'm feeling like, this is what I need. So the prep system really is focusing on your gut health, your protein goals, hitting your fiber goals. We have an incredible amount of tools here to really support you on your journey and make sure that peptides work best with your system. We want you to make sure that you're preserving your lean muscle. We want to make sure that your digestion is on point, because the domino effect of this is incredible. Like, I want you to wake up feeling amazing, hit the ground running. I want you to feel like your skin is vibrant, your digestion, and all of these different metabolic functions that you just feel so good. And it's all of it. And so instead of isolating individual things, it's like, let's take the body, we're going to take the body at the whole, as a whole. So the whole system, right? We want to make sure that we're focusing on all of it. Plus, they taste so good. I will say, like our clear protein and our trim sticks, so good. And the fact that our complete probiotic is just one little pink capsule a day is so nice, just to keep it super simple because we have so much life to live. Uh, your body isn't resistant. It's just waiting for the right conditions. So I just want you to think of this as you go into your peptide therapy. Your body isn't resistant. It's just waiting for the right conditions. So as you take your peptides and doing your support, because if you've struggled with weight in the past, if you feel like your diets have stopped working, if you feel like your midlife has hit harder than you really expected, you're feeling like your body is a little bit stubborn, right? And it's holding on. By the way, put this in the chat if any of these are resonating with you. Um, if you feel like your body has been resistant, it's not because the peptides don't work. It's because they just don't thrive in chaos. They thrive in stability and they thrive when the right cells are created. And so that's exactly what we want to help you do, right? We want to help you have a system that is built for success. So with that, you guys are incredible. I am so excited for you guys to get your peptide therapy, for you guys to get your support stack and to really start this journey. It's going to be incredible to see the results you get before the new year when most people are just starting their fitness and their weight loss goals and all of that. You are going to be in the perfect position because you will have already done the majority of the legwork before the New Year's even happens. Thank you guys so much for these. We'll make sure that we have these on YouTube, and please share this with people that who you know would benefit, who you know are part of that 88% of Americans who really just need this support as you join our metabolic shift. Thank you so much. Have a good day.